Yeah, that's one of the interesting things that I see with independent pharmacies is that, if you're going through medical school, there's an expectation that at some day, you may start your own practice. That's kind of the trajectory. And so the idea that as a pharmacist, you would say, oh, I'm going to have to go clock in for a franchise is, or a corporation's kind of, I don't know, it seems like you're leaving a lot of opportunity out there. But at the same time, once you get into independent pharmacy, you see so many different kind of business relationships between the pharmacist and his business. So you do see those pharmacists that are more separated from the bench and in the back end, working on new initiatives, working on community engagement, working on prescriber relationships and legislation and all of those things. And then, you see pharmacists that are working the bench every day and shaking hands with patients. And that's the part that they really, no matter where you're at, it seems like that's the part that everybody misses or wants more of.
I'm glad you brought all that up because that's exactly, I'm back there doing some of the business stuff and of course I'm in the Rotary Club and different things just to, be involved. And man, if I could stand right there and be with the customers, that's what I really miss a lot. And, I've had employees where I feel like they've thought, oh man, I'd like to go and sit at that desk that's, of course, full of papers and terrible. But I said, be careful what you wish for because, you know, I really like, I could say that about my staff. They really like, and I'm lucky right now because I have a great staff. They really like what they're doing. I mean, I can't say that they drive up and say, oh, another day. And like you were saying about punching in to a chain, I've done that. And a lot of my staff, I think the majority of my staff have done that. And they can appreciate, I mean, they do punch a time. I guess they do punch in, but I remember that. And I
Yeah.
remember saying, okay, for close at 7, how long is it till 7 o'clock? And I don't get that from them at all. I mean,
No.
they,
No.
so relationships are important for me at my pharmacy too. You know, if people aren't happy, they need to just go find, I want them to be happy.
Yeah.
It's not like I want to fire them, but I want them to go and find their happiness because man, that is so important.
Oh yeah. That's I've always kind of gauged success on that. It's you got to pay the bills. That's you work and you are compensated for that. That's part of it, sure. But even before I worked at Pioneer, I worked for magazines and I worked on cars and I did a million different things. But there were very, very few of those things where I felt like, oh God, I got to go do this thing, as long as I could wake up and say, I get to go to work, right? Like I'm going to do a thing that doesn't, conflict with my happiness with where I want to, where I want to be in the world. That's success. So, I actually made it down to your store, when, PioneerRx was installed in your location. And so I was like, man, I wonder if Logan's still there because I worked with Logan a lot as a technician. And so I went to your website and I was like, well, yeah, she is still there. And one of the things I thought was really cool was that on your website, you kind of list some of your key staff members. And I'm just going to kind of go through the list here. Tiffany looks like one of your newer people, and she's there, 4 years?
Well, she's probably 6, I guess, since we made that. Yeah.
Yeah. So Logan, 9 or 10 years. Caitlin, 9 or 10 years. Christina, 11, 12 years. Michelle, longer than you, it looks like.
12. Oh, yeah. She was working for Phil. part-time. She was working at the hospital and working only on like a Thursday for Phil to have a day off.
Yeah. So Melissa, like 8 or 9 years. Jack, 19 years. John's been there about 11. That's pretty cool. I mean, that's definitely a team that's coming in doing something bigger than a 9 to 5.
Yeah, they take care of each other, and in that, I think the customers feel comfortable that they're confident that we're going to take care of them. Christina's been there the longest, and you walk in the door and she says, "Oh, it's $5.95." She knows who the customer is, and they walk. But look, she knows more than that. She knows they come and tell her all their business. And I get jealous of the ones in the front sometimes because, I'm back there doing the of course the pharmacy stuff and checking their profiles or whatever, and the techs too. But the ones that are in the front are the ones who get to really know the customer. They're sometimes I can forget who the customers are. I say, man, who takes this one drug? We got one patient on this drug, and my cashier will tell me. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Yeah. That's pretty cool. That's one of the things, there are a few themes that resonate in every interview that I do here. It's relationships, whether that's, with the community, with your team members, with your patients, but independent pharmacy, that's really the thing that you can't fake. You can't duplicate that with Amazon.
That's our niche there because, I worked for Carmichael's Pharmacy in Crowley, and they have Pioneer now, so maybe I could say that. But anyway, the guy who owned it, I worked with Terry Carmichael, and we filled a lot of prescriptions over there, and you couldn't get in his place. He filled more than everybody, and this guy was very successful. But when somebody walked through that front door, it's like, Will, hey, so I picked up on things from all those different jobs I've had.
Yeah. I mean, that's really the key with, going around and having those different experiences, working, especially like you said, where you got to do like LTC, you got to do some of the pharmacy management, you spent time in like those, really close-knit community pharmacies, but all of those kind of, rolled into one. It really takes all of that. Thanks for listening to this clip from Beyond the Scripts, presented by the Catalyst Pharmacy Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please support our channel by liking, subscribing, and clicking the notification bell so that you'll be notified anytime we post new content. To stay up to date with all of the latest independent pharmacy news and content, follow PioneerRx on your preferred social media platform.